Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Friday. It is the 20th day of January 2023. Happy Friday. I hope that you and your family are healthy and safe today and that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field and the first responders who every day are out here trying their best to save lives. And those that pick up garbage for us to keep streets and sidewalks, parks, wrecks, buildings clean and disease free, and those that make deliveries of such important things as food and water and mail for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women that are out here trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover the victims, the teenagers and children that are the victims of child molestation and pedophilia, the victims of pornography and child pornography, the victims of prostitution and child prostitution, the victims of human trafficking and sex slavery, and double curses on the perpetrators of these things. Double curses on those who are profiteers in these businesses, because that money is dirty. And double curses on those perverts that create this industry in this market. Finally, blessings upon the homeless. There are nearly 600,000 men, women, and mostly children and increasingly elderly people on the streets with no roof over their head, and millions around the world in similar or worse conditions, and blessings upon them. For theirs is the kingdom. There's a scheduled basketball game tonight. The New York Knicks are scheduled to play the Atlanta Hawks in Atlanta tonight. Major, the biggest news in my opinion in the season, the loss of Mitchell Robinson for 3 weeks. Earlier in the season, he had sprained his knee and we lost him for a couple of games. It wasn't a big deal to me then because it was early in the season. And I understand that Tom Thibodeau uses the early part of the season to find the rotation he's comfortable with and then, implement that and they get better as the year goes on. I continually have been saying that. And so here we are we have played 46 games. The Knicks have played 46 games. As it stands right now, the Knicks are tied with the Miami Heat for the 6th seed in the East. The Knicks have been flirting with the 6th seed for a minute now, and they are still in the 6th seed. Both of Miami and the Knicks are a game and a half above Atlanta. So tonight's game is important. At this stage of the season, every game is important. Okay, at this stage of the season, because they're jockeying for playoff position right now. And every game is important, and that's why the trade deadline comes up when it does, because teams that are jockeying for position may make some additions or subtractions based on what they want to do going into the playoffs. Then other teams are blowing up their teams and are trying to get talent, get picks for talent to teams that want to go to the playoffs. So that's where we're at right now. So it's going to get hot and heavy now. So the loss of Mitchell Robinson is major, because there are a lot of people that just look at statistics and they look at basic statistics like scoring average, rebounding average, blocks average, things like that. And they make judgments on players. And if you do that with Mitchell Robinson, it shows you don't know basketball. Because if you understand both basketball and especially NBA basketball, defense wins championships. That's exactly how it is. That's how it's always been. That's how it's always going to be in the NBA. Defense wins championships. And the big part of defense winning championships is not only will defense keep you in every game, but also defense, you need stops. To win in the playoffs, you have to get critical stops. Okay? That's what the playoffs are about. It's possession by possession in the playoffs. And so you need a defensive anchor that's going to protect the rim. And that's the key to Tom Thibodeau's defenses. Always has been. Okay? So he's looking for a defensive anchor to protect the rim. You cannot replace a Mitchell Robinson in that scenario. I mean, it's just, you can't. The second or third leading offensive rebounder in the entire NBA, one of the best defensive players in the NBA, having now learned the position, which one of the toughest positions to learn is the 5 spot, because you got to call out the defenses. You got to read the offensive set. You got to see what they're trying to do, and you got to call it out. And it takes a couple of seasons. I keep telling you, there's a lot of people that's always looking at some rookie center like you're going to come in and dominate. It takes a couple of seasons for a 5 to learn the game, especially an athletic five, because they get in foul trouble a lot because of the fact that they got to learn the sets, because the game moves so fast. They got to understand what the offensive team is doing. It's a lot of responsibility. I always say the two positions that's the most difficult to learn are the point guard spot and the five spot. Okay, Mitch had it. He's now 24 years old. He's not even in his prime yet. And so that I'm very excited for the Knicks' future. But right now we got a problem. Now this is the issue right here. The Chinese, where I learned this a long time ago, the Chinese word for crisis or danger is the very same word for opportunity. The implication is every crisis or dangerous situation also brings with it an opportunity. This is the opportunity. I've always said and always believed the cream rises to the top. That is, the most talented players will end up playing, the most talented, dedicated players will end up playing on a high level, and they're going to end up playing, they're going to end up starting. It always happens because they're just too good, especially in the NBA. There's a lot of factors in the NBA aside from talent. Okay, you got to be healthy, you got to be available, and then of course you got to take advantage of your opportunities. Some people do it quicker, some people do it later. Seriously, it happens at different times. That's why it's pretty silly to try to compare, like somebody's trying to compare somebody in their third or fourth season with RJ in his third or fourth season and expect RJ to be like the other player. That's dumb. Everybody does it different. It's like expecting everybody to grow at the same rate. Some people grow fast, some people grow slow, some people grow, all their height. Like my brother was 6'1" by the time he was 12 or 13, but he never grew anymore. Then I had another brother we used to call Tiny. He was like 5'3". Then all of a sudden when we was in 12th grade, he grew to 5'11". Next thing you see, he was 6 feet. See? So everybody grows at different levels, at different speeds. And that's the same with basketball. So people take advantage of opportunities at different times. Jericho Sims becomes extremely important. As a matter of fact, I think, and I think some of y'all will bear witness, I have a pretty good pulse on what Thibodeau likes to do. I have a pretty good pulse on what his MO is. I have a pretty good pulse of what he plans and how he does things. I don't like it, but I understand what he's going to do. He's a defensive coach, and I've always favored defensive coaches from being from New York, watching Clyde Frazier, watching Pat Riley, seeing Jeff Van Gundy. I've always favored the defensive side of the basketball as a winning side of basketball. And he's a defensive coach. So now he's losing Mitchell Robinson. Okay? I said you can't replace a Mitchell Robinson, but what you're going to try to do is work around your loss. That's what you're going to try to do. This brings opportunity for one Jericho Sims, who I've always believed to be the backup to Mitchell Robinson. This brings opportunity because you're going to play Hartenstein and Sims. Okay? And the reason you're going to do that, and you're going to play them almost equal minutes unless you play Sims more. And the reason you're going to do that is because while Jericho Sims fouls out like he did the last game, he doesn't foul out because his feet are slow. He doesn't foul out because he's overly aggressive. He fouls out because he's learning to play the five spot. Okay, he's learning to play the five, and he's learning it at his speed. Talent-wise, between the comparison of Hartenstein and Sims, there is no comparison. Sims is head and shoulders more talented. Okay, head and shoulders. So what we want to see is Sims get time. We're going to see that because Hartenstein is a fouler. His feet are slow. He starts to use his hands a lot because his feet are too slow. He's high IQ. He can see something getting ready to happen, but he doesn't have the physical ability to make his body do what's necessary to stop that. Okay? He gives all his heart is a good term to begin his name because he does have a lot of heart. He plays with a heart. There's no doubt about that. But he's just feet are too slow. His hips don't move well. And he uses his hands too much. In fact, he had 3 fouls the last game, and it was all his hand was on somebody when it wasn't supposed to. See, and he used his hands too much as far as that. He would be a really good center if it was 1985, because they could use their hands then. But he can't do it now. See, so now the defensive game is based on speed and athletic ability. That's the defensive game: speed, quickness, length, athletic ability. He's lacking in the quickness, the athletic ability part. See, so he's going to foul. The more minutes he plays, the more he's going to foul. You're going to need Jericho Sims. I feel like if he doesn't start tonight, Jericho Sims is eventually going to be the starting center over the next 3 weeks while Mitchell Robinson is out. Okay. He's eventually going to be the starting center. And now you're working with him. Okay. Now he's not Mitchell Robinson. He doesn't have the savvy of Mitch Rob. They're the same age, amazingly enough, but Mitch Rob has more experience playing in the league, playing a lot more games in the league. So he's way, even though they're the same age, he's way ahead of Jericho Sims experience-wise. But Sims is learning the game. And this next 3 weeks, he's going to learn it. We are also going to need additional contributions from an Obi Toppin. See, because what's going to end up happening is Tom is going to go to the lineup where and this is why he experiments with lineups early in the season, but he's going to go to a lineup where you're going to have Obi with Randle. He's going to have that because you're going to have Randle playing some five. And I'm glad Randle's playing some five because he's going to be faster than most five. The thing about Julius Randle is one of the many facets of Julius Randle is that he really is overpowering for smaller players. Like once, he's too strong for most threes. He really is. But he's not quick, and quick as he is for a big man, and he's a big man, he's not quick enough to guard smaller players. So that's why a Keldon Johnson will victimize him because he's much quicker than Julius Randle. And so at the five spot, Julius becomes way too quick for any five. Okay, way too quick, and too strong, and he's strong enough to hold his own, against a five, but he's going to need help from a taller five. Like a KP, he'll need help because KP could just reach over him. So you're going to need help from an Obi Toppin. We're going to need production from Obi Toppin. I'm thinking Obi Toppin's going to get more minutes. We're going to need that. We're going to need the perimeter defense that Deuce McBride and Grimes play because now we don't have that rim protector behind us to help us. So Brunson's weakness in defense, and it's shown every game. Brunson is just very weak on D. He just is too slow, not in the right place, getting beat off the dribble, getting beat backdoor. I mean, nobody talks a lot about that, but that's what happens every game with him. So he is going to have to try to keep his man in front of him, back off him, which means he's going to give up more three-point shots. That's going to be the thing. We're going to have to, and so what's going to end up happening in that scenario, the Knicks have, and Tibbs has defense that does this, you're going to want to force the guy that's the least likely to hit the three to shoot the three. See, so you want to get Brunson on the guy, and there's going to be a lot of switching, but at the end of the day, you're trying to double everybody else that can hit it, get the ball out their hands into a guy, like for example, I don't know if he is or not, but if Clint Capella was playing today, you want him shooting the three. See, you want him shooting if he was playing. See, you don't want obviously Trae Young shooting the three. You want somebody like Clint Capella shooting the three. See, you want to force it so that Clint Capella's standing outside and he gets the ball to shoot it. And you back up off him. And you want Jalen Brunson on him in that scenario, see? So he has to shoot. In fact, that's what Atlanta was doing against the Knicks in the playoffs. They had the Leprechaun guarding Bullock because they knew Bullock wasn't going off the dribble. So the Leprechaun could just stand outside, stand in Bullock's space, and they wanted to force Peyton or whoever to shoot. RJ at that time to shoot the three because they were very confident they would miss. Okay, and that's how you want to do it. So you can make up for the loss of Mitch Robinson strategically, but you're going to have to get Jericho. And I'm very excited about Jericho Sims because, and I think a lot of us are because some people even feel like he's better than Mitch Robinson, which I find very amusing. But Jericho is going to do more than adequate at the five spot. He has the obvious athletic ability to protect the rim. And of course, he's a tough rebounder. He can even handle the rock. He's shown that he can push the ball up the floor if necessary. So I love the idea of playing him if he can stay out of foul trouble. And I know he's trying. He really is. And so if we can keep him, and the reason I'm saying all that is because I think he needs to play 30 minutes. I think he needs to play 30 minutes a game. I don't know if he's going to start off that way. Tibbs might start Hartenstein tonight because he really is going to stick with the pecking order that he has. But eventually it's going to be Jericho Sims. And Jericho Sims is going to close games for the Knicks because he's especially when Hartenstein gets in foul trouble. So it's going to be very important. Sims has gotten an opportunity now. This crisis has brought opportunity for Jericho Sims. Obi Toppin is now we're going to need 20 minutes or more from him. He's going to have to produce offensively. We're going to need him on the board. We're going to need him scoring. We're going to need him running the floor. All of that. Okay, and then of course we're going to need the defense of Grimes and Deuce in the back, so we're going to need, and everybody's got to be on their game. Got to be on their game. Okay. Of course, we're going to need the usual offensive production that Jalen Brunson brings. We're going to need RJ and we're going to need Randle to really push forward here. So now we have 46 games the Knicks have played. They're in the 6th seed after 46 games. They're 7-3 in their last 10. Miami is also 7-3 in their last 10. We're tied for the 6th seed, and there's 36 games to go. You believe that? Kind of sad about that, isn't it? Only 36 more games of the Knicks season, of the NBA season. Atlanta is hot. They have won their last 4, and they're 6-4 over their last 10. They've won their last 4 in a row. So here we come into another hot team on the road, which is actually the Knicks play best that way. And Atlanta is showing the leprechaun is day to day. I don't know what his problem. He got left ankle soreness. He'll probably play, but he's day to day. He's questionable today. Bogdanovich, who's a lethal shooter, is day to day. They don't say why he's day to day, but he's day to day. Bogdanovich is day to day, and of course they have added DeJounte Murray. They got DeAndre Hunter, John Collins, and Clint Capella. That's their starting 5. They have Aaron Holiday, Bogdanovich, AJ Griffin, having a really nice rookie year. Jalen Johnson in the second year, and of course Onyeka Okongwu. They have a nice bench. We know about DeJounte Murray. He killed us the last time he was here. I mean, we played them in the Garden. So this is going to be a tough game. It's always a battle. The Atlanta, New York is a battle. And the reason that's a big battle, in my opinion, one of the reasons is because of how many Knicks fans are in Atlanta. There's a large amount of Knicks fans in Atlanta. And so when you see the Atlanta play the Knicks in Atlanta, you will see as many Knicks fans as you see Hawks fans. It's because there's just a lot of Knicks fans in Atlanta. So that's why there's a bit of animosity from the Hawks, as you would expect. And then, of course, there's our whole playoff thing and the leprechaun talking all his mess and the Knicks fans talking their mess. And so it's always on when we play Atlanta. So it's going to be a tough game. This is going to be a tough game. I think the Knicks could win this game. Okay, I think they could win this game. But the players I named have got to be ready. So you got Jericho Sims has got to be ready. Obi Toppin has got to be ready. Okay, Deuce and Grimes have got to be ready. Offensively, Julius has been off. He's been off the last 2 games. He's been out of sync the last 2 games. He's too good for that to continue. I don't expect that to continue. I'd like to see another key to me is I'd like to see Grimes get more than 13 shots. If he can get more than 13 shots today, and he's his usual efficient self, we're gonna be in good shape. Okay, and of course the defense. We need to have Deuce and Grimes do their thing on the perimeter. The Atlanta Hawks can shoot the rock. They're really good at shooting the basketball, and so we're gonna need them on the defensive perimeter. We're gonna have to be as a unit, as a string on a string, which usually the Knicks are defensively. But it's gonna be tougher without MitchRob. But we're gonna have to pull everybody. Other people got to step up, and I named them. So you're gonna need Jericho to step up. We're gonna need Hartenstein to step up, but we're gonna need Obi Toppin to step up, and we're gonna need Grimes and Deuce to step up. I'm expecting the same offensive production from the forming, crystallizing big 3 that we always get. But I'm really looking for that defense. I'm really looking now. We talked about the lack of assists. I thought at first that it was Jalen Brunson learning and getting over. Every player goes through this thing when they sign a big contract that they want to prove to everybody, especially the hometown, that they are worth the contract. And I thought that was what Jalen Brunson was doing. I'm not sure anymore. But I need him to move that basketball a little bit. Let everybody touch the rock. See, when he comes down and starts scoring from the opening tip, it's nice, but he's freezing everybody else out. Okay? Let's move that ball a little bit. Open it up. Get the people touching the ball. Let all 5 players touch the basketball. If we could do that, we can get the assist up. I was hoping for 25 assists from the Knicks a game. Now, if they can just get 20, I'll be happy. If they can just get 20, I'll be happy. So we got to get 20 assists. Let's see if we can get 20 assists. Like 10 assists, 9 assists, 12 assists for a game ain't gonna cut it. We gotta do better. Especially if Randle is not hitting his shot. See, Brunson will score at a high level because more often than not, he's inside the paint scoring. For the guy that's small, he's inside the paint scoring. So more often than not, he's scoring in the paint. He's getting high quality, short, close shots. Julius relies on both inside and 3-point shot to fall. And so, I expect Brunson to do his thing. I want Julius and RJ to get their game going. RJ is now getting back into form, from the finger injury. He's looking strong. And so I'm hoping that continues. So this is going to be a tough game. I hope I'm not going to predict the Knicks win, but I believe they have a good chance to win the game. They have a good chance to win the game. This is not a game where I'm going to say, oh, this is going to be tough to win. No, they can win this game. They just need these guys to step up. So I won't be seeing it live, but of course I'm going to see it at the Shabbat tomorrow night. And then we'll be doing, and then of course the Knicks play Sunday or Monday. I think they play Sunday or Monday. Let's take a look here. I know they play Atlanta, then they got Toronto on Sunday. They're at Toronto on Sunday. Yeah, and then Cleveland comes to the Garden on Tuesday. Okay, this is a tough schedule. So, and this is all playoff implications. Atlanta, Toronto, Cleveland, Boston, Brooklyn. Playoff implications for all of those games, okay? So let's take it one game at a time. Tonight they play Atlanta. Let's see if we can get this W. Let's see if we can get this W tonight and go from there. So we'll talk to y'all. Please have a safe and enjoyable Friday. We'll talk to y'all later. Enjoy your weekend. Shalom.